another Super Saturday, the first one in September, Labor Day weekend, right here on AM 600 KIVA and 93.7 FM with my good friends Tigo and Tracy Venturi, the Venturi Real Estate Group from Keller Williams Realty. You can pick up the phone and dial them directly, 448-8888. That's 448-8888. Or as always, visit the number one radio, internet website for real estate in the state of New Mexico. Welcome him. HomeABQ.com. That's welcomehomeabq.com. Tigo, Tracy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Eddie.
Good morning.
Another Saturday. Here we are talking about real estate. And I tell you what, there's a lot of action in the real estate world these days. Boy.
Especially if you like real estate stats, huh?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well,
here we are
Eddie, likes all those economic things and
I think it's important. It's no time to talk about that because, of course, Tigo and Tracy, this has been record-breaking month after month after month after. I mean, it doesn't seem to end. And we'll tell you today whether or not it's a good time to sell. We'll also discuss, as always, Tracy features your homes of the week. You're getting them here on Thursday live at 12:56 p.m. before they hit the market, maybe Friday, Saturday, whenever. If you want to get ahead of the curve, always, get that in between 12:30 and 1 o'clock. Demand continues to stay strong, right, guys? Home prices versus affordability, and is waiting for a deal right now. A good strategy. Hard to find deals. We'll talk a little bit about that. Renter regrets. High-end market is on fire. Very exciting, especially after
fire.
Yeah.
Fire.
I was hoping we were going to go Beavis, but there you go.
I know. Hey, you're one of those Xers, so I'm sure you were a Beavis and Butthead guy, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Mike Judge, you graduated Pius, and
that's right. That's right.
We're going to get behind him, but let's kick it off. Let's start talking about stats and just how on fire things are. Tigo and Tracy, take it away.
Thanks, Eddie, and we appreciate everybody listening, tuning in week after week, year after year, doing this radio show keeps us on.
7 years strong, right?
7 years strong.
And it's Labor Day weekend, just like Eddie said. And yes, we're working this weekend, and we have a lot of things going on in real estate this weekend. We're available if you want to go see a house, if you want to meet and talk about selling your house. We are working.
I want to start off. I mean, obviously we have the August numbers overall, and I'll just give the headline. August 2020 was the busiest month ever in Albuquerque real estate.
Which is really interesting because we know from earlier this year, we had traditionally our busiest months, March, April, May, for homes to go pending, and then they closed, 30, 45 days later. Usually that's when we would see a biggest month for the year, but in August 2020, biggest ever of all time, which was delayed for our normal season.
If you look back and you look at the seasonality in the Albuquerque market, we find that homes generally, the number of homes going pending usually peak out April, May,
right.
June, April, May, June. You go back all the way back.
We get where people want our schools start earlier in New Mexico than a lot of parts of the country. It's usually early August. So people's goal is, they as soon as it warms up in March and grass starts turning green, people get out and find homes. So that's why April and May are really busy months for homes to get accepted offers. And then the closings are May, June.
Right.
Then July.
Exactly.
And then we usually are slowing up by August because everyone's back to school. Well, now it's all not the same.
One of the things that we see, and this is one of the things I track, Tracy, is number of homes that have price reductions.
Right.
And it's a really good leading indicator of, where people are, where realtors are, where the sellers are, and what their mindset is about the market. And generally this time of year, if you look at the chart, you'll see a trend where, going into late summer, August, September, you'll start seeing a fair amount of homes getting price reductions.
Right.
They want to get the home sold before November. They don't want to go into November with the home still on the market. Well, this year, that trend is not happening.
Right.
What's happened is the number of homes having price reductions it's just been a flat line for the last 3 months.
There are still some, because some people are trying to press the market and say, well, it's the best seller's market ever. I'm going to ask for this. And we're going, buyers are still smart and price sensitive. You have to be priced for the market.
Absolutely true, and I
Right.
appreciate you pointing that out. And I'm just saying, overall, statistically, we're not seeing as many price reductions this year as we have in years past. And
Exactly.
and needless to say, it's. I mean, we have the hottest sellers market we've ever seen in Albuquerque, ever.
Yep. If you're thinking of selling, I met with a seller just over a week ago, and their house will be coming on the market in about a week with a swimming pool. And they called and said, I think I missed the mark. It's like the season's over, the swimming pool's still being used, and it's beautiful, but did we miss the season to sell our house? And I'm like, absolutely not.
Well, in the thing that's interesting, Tracy, one of the things that I've really started to focus on is buyer demand. And is there, where is the buyer demand? And as like I said, August was the number one number of homes going pending in the Albuquerque market ever. Okay. Super strong buyer demand. We know that for sure, but there's a lot of things to look at. Foot traffic, the number of people out looking at the homes, the number of people
Foot traffic, like you said, meaning how many showings is a house
showings.
Getting.
Exactly.
Right. And I know you track that because we can get the stats from the lock boxes that we use
Correct.
on the homes that show how many houses and how many times they're being
and
opened.
I have that data. And if you're a realtor
Thought
out
you
there and you
would.
wonder where to get that data because it's not readily available, let me know and I'll help you out. But the other thing is mortgage applications. How many mortgage applications are we seeing in the pipeline? And I suspect, and it comes out every week, the Mortgage Bankers Association puts out the stat. And again, even though this week it was down slightly from the previous week, it was still up 28% versus last year same time. Now this week,
and that's nationally.
That's
number.
nationally. Yes.
Nationally.
Yes.
So we in New Mexico, we've already gotten the back to school and kids at home being in school at home, and the rest of the country, I see not all of them are back in school yet. So the numbers are mixed because part of the country we're back trying to figure out how to teach our kids at home, which might delay people getting a mortgage application in, whereas other parts of the country. So there's a little offset.
So the interesting thing is Melissa Romero, one of our top agents on our team, she's just amazing. And she was talking about a client that, had a quote for sub 3, and then a couple days later it was like 3 1/4, and it's like, well, she was upset.
I mean interest rate.
Interest rate, yeah.
Home.
Sorry, talking about interest rate, yeah. So it's just
a sub 3, and then it went to 3 1/4, and it was like, oh darn, and you go, wait.
Well, rates bumped up a little bit this week.
3 1/4 is still.
Yeah, I mean, it's like,
pretty
really, we're
awesome.
going to complain about 3 1/4, but and she wasn't complaining. She was just like, it's just kind of funny. It's all relative, right? It's
Right.
like,
Right.
So that's one of the things also to watch if you're selling is interest rates. If interest rates really start to get pushed up, that will have an effect on demand. Absolutely, there's no doubt about it. But right now we're in this 3-ish range where we were in the 4-ish range for a long time there,
Right.
and in fact, it even bumped up to 5% at one point. And when was that? 2019, late 2018?
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly when it was, but yeah. Which brings one of the topics, Tracy, which is affordability versus home prices.
And without really thinking about it, people might think, well, if it's, such a good seller's market, homes aren't affordable. I'm going to wait for the price to go down. We hear that, right?
Absolutely.
And, when you look at a chart and you get an interest rate around 3, home prices aren't as important because your monthly payment is still going to be less than,
I've got a stat for that.
I bet you do, than a home priced lower with a higher interest rate.
So let me give you an example. A $250,000 house at a 3% interest rate, PITI, which is principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. That's kind of like, all in basically.
Everything but like if there's an HOA or something.
Yeah, HOA or obviously, maintenance and stuff like that you got to account for. But 3%, you're at $1,287 a month. Okay.
For $300,000?
For a $250,000 loan. $250,000
So the price
loan.
could be higher.
Right,
Yeah.
right. $250,000 loan. If that same $250,000 is at 4%, that's $1,426 a month.
So
that's
$160 a month more.
So let me say it this way: if that same house, let me see, how do I say this? So
if the house were 230,000 at 4%,
let me put it this way: to get that $1,287 monthly payment on a 4% interest, your home would have to be 225, or your loan would have to be 225, not 250. It's about a 10% difference. That 1% interest rate equates to about 10% in loan amount.
So you can pay 250 for the house, and if it's worth 225 next year and interest rates are at 4%, the monthly payment would still be the same.
Exactly.
So it's good time to be a buyer, good time to be a seller.
It's interesting. I was thinking about this when I was prepping for the show, Tracy, is like, I was thinking about, okay, I want to talk about this, and I want to, talk about how affordable it is, even though home prices have gone up about 8% since last year and all that. And then I thought, oh, wait, we don't need to convince anybody that it's a good time to buy, because buyer demand is as high as we've ever seen it. So I wanted to talk to you, Tracy, about, is it a good time to sell your home?
Well, we kind of already covered that, right? I was telling you about the gentleman I met with last week, or the couple, and it is a good time. We've sold more houses in August than any other month.
Wait. It's a good time to sell and a good time to buy? How can that be?
That's what I just said.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a good time to buy for the reasons we just said, because the interest rate is so low that it's giving you a great monthly payment that you're locking in for 30 years typically. Your housing payment, can you imagine that if you could go and rent a 2 or 3 bedroom apartment right now for $1,600 a month, which I know people do, and it's going to go up next year and the year after that. But if you go buy a house and get this was a $250,000 loan all in for $1,426 a month.
Yeah.
And you've locked that in for 30 years. Do you think that apartment in 30 years is going to be the same price as it is today? No.
Plus, you're not putting money away every month as forced saving on your principal on your house. And
exactly.
And we've got this story, Tracy, I want to get to, talking about the regrets of renters. So to put that in perspective, we have a home over here on the west side in 7 Bar that's probably around 250, 240, something like that, right? The value, but it'll rent for probably 1,600 or so, 1,600, because, and so the point is, if you're looking buy versus rent,
right,
you run the numbers, it's kind of a no-brainer to buy if you can buy. And that's why demand is so strong. So back to sellers. What do sellers need to think about, and what are the challenges for sellers? We don't have, let me pull up the number here, Tracy. We don't have as many new listings coming on the market as we would like to see. So we've had, if we look at monthly, the number of new listings is down 7%.
New homes coming on the market, homes for sale coming on the market.
Correct.
Listings isn't.
I know it's one of those terms, but if we look at it in a 12-month rolling, the number of homes getting listed on our market is down 8% over last year.
Right.
And it's really taken a dive in the last 3 months. So why are people not listing their homes that maybe wanted to?
Well, I think there's a couple reasons, right? One is they're there, they think it's COVID and it's hard to sell a house maybe, but that's not really happening because we're able to sell them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another reason, they probably want to buy a house and don't know how to sell and buy at the same time, right?
Or they can't find the house.
Or they can't find the house to buy, so they don't want to sell the house they're in at the risk of not having a house to move into.
Yeah, and we've had that just recently here in the team where, wanted to sell, got it on the market, and then realized they just could not find what they were looking for. And so it's kind of this kind of catch-22. We'd like to see more homes on the market, but yet people are not listing because they can't find where they want to go.
And we have had 2 very recent ones where the home was ready to go on the market, waiting for them to find the right house. And they put an offer in contingent upon the sale of their home, and they were able to get it accepted because we are able to show the other agent, hey, this is their home, the photos are taken, we can be on the market the day you accept this offer, and we know their house is going to sell quickly because they've staged it, or not staged it, but they prepped it for sale. It shows great. Look at these photos. And and we can make that work too, So there are ways and strategies that we have to help people sell a house and buy a house at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we've also we've bought a house where the person needed to have a guaranteed sale. They needed to know the house was sold so they could move forward with new construction and have a new home built. And so we went ahead and made the purchase and gave them a rent back agreement, a lease, basically month to month, so they could stay there for the 8 months while their new home was being built.
Options.
And so we have a lot of options. If you want to sell, you don't have to think about it. Just let's talk and see what options there are that might work for you, right?
Yeah, no, there are options, and there are options that we can offer on our team and I don't mean this to belittle any other agents or real estate teams or agents out there, but we can offer some things that not other people or teams can, related to instant offer, guaranteed sale, guaranteed sale price at a future date, rent back.
That reminds me, we just did that this week too with somebody. Right. We guaranteed that we would be able to sell their house,
right, or
we would buy it and let them move forward with the purchase on their home.
It's interesting because we've had the ads running on the station here for a long time, 7 years, and we've always talked about the guaranteed sale, and we've talked about the instant buy and the different endorsements we've had from Glenn Beck to Brian Kilmeade. Yes, and so
Bobby Bones.
Yeah, Bobby Bones. In the most recent ad that you recorded for the station here, Tracy, we're just talking about the need for homes on the market, that it's a very hot seller's market, and we hadn't really gone into that. So we just want to remind people we make that available. Tracy, let's talk about this study that came out from Zillow Economic Research, and it was asking renters what their biggest regrets were as to not owning a home. And I think all of these are things we know, but what's the first one that jumps out at you?
Renting prevents me from earning equity.
Yeah.
Think about when you were talking about that house we own in the 7-bar neighborhood near Intel. And, we bought that, I don't know.
We bought that at the depth of the market when it was kind of scary to be buying a house. Nobody knew what was going to be going on. I think it was about 2010, 2011. But we knew, and you knew.
Well, that's one of those where sometimes I write offers on things when I see a house I think we should own, and I forget to tell Tigo.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we have an offer accepted, and I go, oh, Tigo, by the way, we're buying a house. But anyway, that one was, we probably have $100,000 in equity in that home right now because we bought it, 8 or 10 years ago. And just by virtue of holding it that long and having a tenant in it who's paying the mortgage for us, what we owe on it versus what it's worth today is, part of what everybody should be doing to build wealth through real estate,
And so, this one, this thing, the 52% of the respondents on the survey said that renting prevents them from earning equity. And I know, we have this saying, it's, if you're either paying your mortgage or you're paying your landlord's mortgage. And I know that's kind of, but it is true. The other part of that, and I think the more important part of that is when you're an owner and you have that $1,500 a month payment versus a $1,500 a month rent, a portion of that, if you've got a mortgage, which most people do, is going toward your principal, right? You're lowering your actual loan amount as well as building equity. So you are building wealth over time. And, the people that got hurt in the housing market in 2008 when things really started to slide, were people that were over leveraged. They were in loans that were negative cash flow on for renting, right? So people were buying homes
for rent
to be rentals. They were paying top of the market. They were in 6 and 7% interest rate loans. They were renting them out, and they were losing $200 or $300 a month. And the theory was that, well, home prices will keep going up, so it's okay if you lose a couple $100 a month. Well, then what happened? Prices shifted. And the reason I'm bringing that up is Today, it's a much different situation. People have a lot of equity in their home versus back then. I really took us off track, didn't I?
Yeah, and the other thing, Tigo, that's important to remember is rentals are hard to find right now as well. And the prices on rentals have gone up considerably in this year. So other things that were top renter regrets, and this is right up there tied with the first one, is I can't customize or improve the property. And we talk about this on the show.
Make it your own. Yeah.
Right? You can't just paint the walls or put a fence up or change the window coverings, or, people don't want to put in backyard landscaping features that they would enjoy because it's not for them in the long run, it's for the landlord. So
and in a lot of these things that are on this list, so for example, lacking outdoor space
rent
is
too high.
Well, I was going to say finishes weren't great. They couldn't do a pet. Don't like my neighbors. Stuff like that where you can't make it your own, and it actually feels like it's your own place. And it goes back to that whole thing about safety, security, having a place of your own. And so I think we're probably preaching to the choir out here is that renting has a place, absolutely. And I would say if your intention is to live in one place for a year and then maybe move on, then buying probably it doesn't make sense for you.
Or it might. So we have a whole team of realtors who work with us.
Yep.
We have several on our team that specialize in helping sellers, and some that just specialize in working with buyers, and some that do both. So if you're looking to buy or sell, give us a ring and we'll get you connected. We're at 448-8888, Tracy and Tigo Venturi Realty Group of Keller Williams Realty. We've been honored to be the #1 agents in the whole state of New Mexico, selling over 500 properties last year, and probably going to do that or more this year.
Yep.
And, we have great people that can help. So give us a ring. So
Tracy, I want to talk about
get to homes.
Oh, yes, we got some homes. Okay, I want to talk about the high-end market, but let's do that first.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So 7112 Foxford. It's an Opal Jenkins single story, open on Saturday from 1 to 4 with Andrew.
What part
Medina.
of town is that?
Opal Jenkins. It's right near, it's I think Taylor Ranch maybe specifically.
Okay.
It's one of those brick one-story Jenkins.
Yep.
I was going to say it's maybe Paradise East, close to Paradise Hills, but I think it might be a hair south of there. Foxford. 7112 Foxford. Obviously, you can get on our website at welcomehomeabq.com and look at our open houses, or albuquerqueopenhouses.com and find out where all the houses are that are going to be on the open this weekend. The other one that's new went on the market Thursday, and it is Mirador Loop in Rio Rancho. It's 1212 Mirador Loop. It's very mid Rio Rancho, and a nice 2-story, about 2,900 square feet home.
Kind of northern, just north of Rio Rancho High School.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't have it pulled up, so I can't tell you the rest of the details, but I know it's a big house.
Oh, you want me to do that?
You've got the mouse. You're in control there.
I'm in charge of the computer. Sorry about that.
It just went active. So that one. We also have a piece of land in Sandia Park that's pretty cool. It's 8.9 acres for under $100,000.
Wow.
So yeah, a good one. The coming soon house that we have. So this is the house that the buyers needed to find a house and get their other home sold.
Yes. Okay.
And so, so their offer was accepted. So William Moyers, right up by La Cueva, is incoming soon right now. When is that going to be available for showing, Tigo?
I don't have it here in front of me.
So
Keep
William
talking.
Moyers is a street that's like one street away from the north side of La Cueva High School. So it's 343,000, just over 2,000 square feet, built by Colonial in 1991. And it says going to be on the market starting today. And
it's in the MLS right now. If you want to reach out to us, it's not in the public side of the MLS, which I don't want to go down that trail, but it is in the MLS. And if you're already working with a realtor, they can look it up, or you can just reach out to us
at 448-8888. And so what's happening with this house is because it's in a hot area, walking distance to the school, priced right, they're going to let people look at it all weekend through Monday, and then the seller is planning to look at all offers on Tuesday. So 7700 William Moyers, and happy to help you with that. The other, we have one that just went active. It's a fixer-upper, 600 North 4th in Belen. I believe that one's $69,900.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're interested in something in Belen, that one's also available. We have several others too. So if you're interested in something specific, just give us a call, 448-8888, and we'll be happy to help you find the right property.
And if you're thinking about selling and you're just wondering, okay, what could my home be worth? What could it sell for? Are there really buyers out there that want homes like mine? Well, we can tell you. Give us a call. We have a whole list of home shoppers that are looking for particular homes that just are not on the market right now.
I'm going to mention one other thing, Tegan, that's so important this time of year. We need to bring this up a few times between now and like November. Is if you're thinking next spring you need to sell your house, let's meet now and talk about what things you might want to think about doing over the winter to maximize the sale price of your home next year. And perhaps we get the photos before the weather changes and before the grass changes. So if you want to be on the market in March next year, when the market is typically very hot as well, we can take photos now where the yard looks its best.
Yep.
So
yep.
We can also do that. But we're happy to look at things. A lot of times we just meet with people, get them the value of their home, and they're like, good, I'm good for now, and we're happy to do that. Sometimes it's, we're months away. What should we do? Should we paint? Should we put carpet? Should we do flooring? Should we, we are happy to give all that advice and just meet with people and see how we can be of service.
High-end market, Tracy. We've been talking about this now for a few months here, just internally. I've been talking it with some people at the Realtor Association here, because I don't think the Realtors, our local Realtor Association, GAR, Greater Albuquerque Association of Realtors, I've been involved in that for a while, and they do a great job putting out market stats, but usually it's very high level, right? Think 30,000-foot view, right?
And it's usually 30 days behind, and you're always...
Well, it's about, usually it comes out on the 6th after each month. But the thing that's that really jumped out at me that doesn't really break it down in the stats they put out are by price range. And so I started looking at this a few months ago, and the thing I found is that if you look at homes over $500,000 in Albuquerque, we have seen a tremendous surge in the number of those homes that are going under contract and selling. And so if you look at the 3-month trend, so Tracy, I looked at 3 different things. I looked at 500,000 above, $1 million and above, and 1.3 million and above, which is kind of like our ultra luxury, let's say, market, right?
And it's interesting how different it is between 1 million and 1.3 and above, right? It changes.
Well, and and obviously there's not, if we look at the number of homes on the market, let's see. So if we look at, the 1.3 and above, there's 32 homes on the market this month, right? In that price range. However, we had 15 go pending in the last 30 days in that ultra high luxury. That's a 114% increase over last year's same 3 months.
Right.
Did you follow that?
I did. But
okay.
I've got the charts in front of me and I've been looking at them. So
well, and then the other thing is, so let's just look at $500,000 above. That's kind of been our number for, what we consider, quote, the luxury market in Albuquerque, right? And if we look at a 3-month average, is this 3 months or is this 1 month?
August pending sales by price by
this is
year.
just for the month. No, this is 3 months. This is a 3-month average. And so what we're looking at is, and I wanted to compare it, to last year, and I wanted this 3 months. So we're looking at August, July, and June, indicator. Right? Yes. And so $500,000 and above, 90% increase in the number of those homes that have received an offer, gone under contract versus last year, same time.
So the number is 351 homes
versus 185 last year, same time.
3-month period last year.
You look at the million and above, 133% increase. Now, again, it's not huge numbers. It was 15 last year, but 35 this year, 20 more. Again, $1 million and above. So our luxury market, our high-end market is as strong as we've ever seen it. Now, in some cases, you would still say it's, quote, a buyer's market because we probably have 10 months supply in certain price ranges.
And what I know, because I've shown
that's what I was going to ask you. Yes.
$1 million houses in the last month or two, is the gems are still selling quickly. And what do I mean by the gems? The ones that have all, check all the boxes. They show right. They have great indoor and outdoor living. Maybe they have great views. They might have great features like swimming pools, outdoor kitchens, and just the floor plan is great and maybe newer or very updated.
Yep.
And shows beautifully. Those ones in the right locations are still selling within days. I mean, I saw one that was 1.1 the other day, and it was off the market in one day.
Yeah.
Well,
so,
but then
I'm
there's
hearing
others that are sitting for a year still because they're just not priced for the market for the condition or location.
One stat that really jumped out at me, Tracy, when I was looking at this, and I showed it to you earlier, but it was the days on market, or the average days on market for these higher end homes.
Right.
And one of the stats, I'm like going, what do you mean it's like 190% increase in days on market versus last year? Well, at first I was like, well, that doesn't make sense. So last year, it was like 31 days on market for these homes $1 million and above. This year, the average days on market for closed sales was 90 days. So I'm like, well, what's going on there? Well, if you actually dig into it and think about it, it's because homes that have been on the market a long time are now selling.
Right, because there's a demand for them and there's nothing else for someone to buy. So the ones that were sitting are now selling, which was a great point because that obvious didn't come to me right away.
Okay. So that was my call to wrap up the show.
Eddie must have lost us. So,
yeah, we lost him.
And we lose track of time. We could talk about real estate
I know,
all day. So
I know.
Thanks for joining us today. We look forward to hearing from you. Give us a shout. Let us know how we can help you, what you want us to talk about, and we'll see you next Saturday.
Again, it's Venturi Realty Group, Keller Williams Realty. You can reach us at 448-8888 or online at welcomehomeabq.com.